Mr. Green.
Thank you, Chairman, for your persistent leadership on this issue, and thanks to our witnesses for being here today. Thank you for your service to our country. Rangers lead the way, Night Stalkers don't quit. Many of you may recall from the movie Lone Survivor, the Night Stalker helicopter that crashed attempting to rescue stranded Navy SEALs. All on board perished, including my friend Stephen Reich and another man I know well from the unit, Master Sergeant Trey Ponder. Trey's parents are my constituents, and I often see them at events in the district. Before I begin my comments, I want to say a word to my fellow Afghanistan veterans. Our service and our sacrifices were not in vain. We kept our nation safe from a terrorist attack for 20 years. No one who served, and like myself, lost friends, should ever feel it was for nothing. We protected America. You protected America for 20 years. When I signed into the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, one of the first guys to greet me was a guy named Corey. Corey was recovering from wounds he had sustained on Roberts Ridge. The Navy SEAL, Neil Roberts, had fallen from one of our aircraft, which was unable to rescue him. And so we live by the code. Leave no man, leave no woman behind. So 2 Chinook helicopters were dispatched with a massive quick reaction force. As they landed to attempt to rescue Roberts, both were shot down. And 40 or so Rangers, SEALs, and Special Operations aviators were stranded on that hilltop, surrounded by 250 Taliban. The intense battle that lasted almost 24 hours, 7 Americans gave their lives because they lived by the oath, leave no man behind. The Ranger Code, which I learned back in the day, has a line or two that is relevant for today. Every Ranger graduate, every member of the Ranger Regiment knows this creed. Those lines, and I quote, "I will never leave a fallen comrade to fall into the hands of the enemy. Under no circumstance will I ever embarrass my country." Senior general officers at the Pentagon have told me they insisted that the evacuation occur from Bagram Air Base. Those leaders, we can debate about whether or not we should have, could have, would have, whether Biden should have stopped, not withdrawn at all, but they decided to withdraw, and senior general officers told me that the evacuation should have occurred from Bagram Air Base. Those leaders told the president, we need 3,500 soldiers to guard the base for the exfil. According to those generals, in a room at the White House, the president himself said, no, go to 600 troops. With 600, you can't hold Bagram, so the decision to exfil from Kabul became necessary. That decision killed 13 American warriors and left hundreds of American citizens behind enemy lines, many of whom fell into the hands of the enemy. And more, that decision made by Joe Biden to leave Americans behind was an embarrassment to this nation. And it most certainly crystallized Vladimir Putin's decision to invade Ukraine. And I'll debate that with anyone who cares to take me on. Now, in the few minutes that I have, Colonel Mann, do you think that the exfil would have been safer from Bagram Air Base had we surrounded that with 3,500 troops? Thank you.
I do, Congressman.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a sensitive question now. I have an answer that is tragic for myself, but I'm going to ask a question of all of the veterans here. Do you know anyone who soon after this disastrous withdrawal committed suicide because they felt like it was all for nothing? Yes, I see lots of heads nodding.
Yes.
I do too. The blood of those men and women's hands are on the president, period. We live by the oath, leave no man behind. It'd be great if the commander-in-chief did as well. Now I want to say very quickly, reiterate what I said at the beginning. Take this to your friends. Take this to our brothers and sisters. It was not in vain. We kept America safe for 20 years. Those sacrifices saved Americans' lives from a terrorist attack back home. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. God bless you. And Mr. Chairman, I yield.